copy of the Open Meetings Act is posted in the meeting room and is accessible to members of the public at any time during the course of this meeting. First item on the agenda is the consent agenda. All items listed under the consent agenda are considered to be routine by the City Council and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member or citizen so requests. Beg your pardon, unless a council member requests. First item is approve agenda as submitted. Item B, receive and place on file all notices pertaining to this meeting. Item C, receive and place on file all materials having any bearing on this meeting. Item D, approval of minutes of regular meeting on July 6, 2021, as on file in the City Clerk's office. Item E, approval of Treasurer's report of claims in the amount of $1,990,000. $1,990,093.90. F, approval of Boswell report of claims in the amount of $54,958.72. Item G, approval of change order number 3, increase in the amount of $1,725.42 to Hampton Construction for the new fire station project. H, approval of change order number 1, an increase in the amount of $24,860.27. And a final pay request number 1 in the amount of $537,813.83 to Constructors, Inc. for the Scott Street, Sherman to Sumner Asphalt Reconstruction Project 2021, as recommended by the Board of Public Works. Item I, approval of new Keno Sales satellite application for Bowl Company LLC, doing business as Family Bowl and Social, located at 2223 Court Street, Beatrice, Nebraska. Item J, approval of manager application for Crystal M. Carter, license ID 122358, 122359, 122361, and 122365 in connection with Casey's Retail Company, doing business as Casey's General Store, number 65, number 1784, number 2702, and number 1744, located in Beatrice, Nebraska. Item K, approval of Beatrice Plus funding request in the amount of $5,000 to Little Angels for a memorial for babies led to rest at Evergreen Cemetery, as recommended by the Beatrice Plus Advisory Board. And item L, refer claim of Kent and TJ Harland, doing business as Kent's Lawn Service, 1715 North 19th Street, regarding damages to their personal property to the city attorney and city insurance carrier for review and disposition. Is there any item that any council member wants removed from the consent agenda? All right, Mr. Claybaugh.
I move that the items listed under the consent agenda be approved, accepted, and are ratified as presented.
Second.
Moved by Claybaugh, seconded by Morgan, that all items listed under the consent agenda will be approved, accepted, and are ratified. Your vote, please. And that is approved 5-0. We have no public hearings or resolutions this evening, no ordinances. Next item is the public forum. Purpose of the public forum is for the presentation of an item by the general public to the City Council for consideration at a later date. No discussion or action will be taken by the City Council at this time. Is there anyone here for the public forum? All right, we'll go to item number 7, discussion and reports. And first up is the Engage Quarterly Report. Trevor Lee, Executive Director of Engage. Trevor, welcome.
Thank you. Good evening. So you should have in your packets, emailed to you or delivered, the quarterly report for this would be the fourth quarter for the fiscal, at least the budget year for Engage. Touch on a few highlights and be happy to answer any questions or speak at any comments you might have. First item is master planning for the Hickory Industrial Site. Survey work has begun on the site. As much work that can be done is being done with super tall corn growing as it grows in southeast Nebraska. So perimeter work will be getting done soon, and then as corn comes out during harvest this fall, they'll be able to get on site and locate utilities and some of those other activities. handed out a bit ago the Southeast Nebraska Wage and Benefits Survey. I believe I mentioned this during the last quarterly report. This was essentially a survey of 16 Gage County and beyond manufacturers. 8 of those were within Beatrice, the remaining were within 1 hour, basically to get a high-level overview of where they're at based off of job descriptions. We received 250 job descriptions from those 16 manufacturers. We're able to condense that down, as you'll see in the report, to 15 separate job categories. We're able to look at what their entry level and experience wages were, as well as just a high-level view of where they're at for their health insurance premiums and employer participation. This was spurred by requests from some Beatrice manufacturers. So with the 16 manufacturer response rate, I was pretty pleased with that, given that half of those were not even located within Beatrice where we work with them necessarily. So hopefully this is something we continue and adds a bit more sophistication moving forward, but so far we've had a positive response. That's the public report. Each manufacturer that participated also got a custom report that had the other manufacturer's information in terms of identity scrubbed, but they could see where they fell versus the other manufacturers. I've also mentioned over the past 1 or 2 quarterly reports, the Opportunity Here series. We're waiting on a couple more articles from Golden Shovel Agency, but we have 3 videos complete with 2 more videos being filming underway before the end of the month. So we'll be able to have at least 5 kind of in the war chest as we roll these out over the course of at least 1 a month. That should sync up well with manufacturing day in October, or whatever that looks like. It might be multiple days. We'll be sitting down with some manufacturers and school districts in the weeks ahead to start looking at what that might look like. We have right now, I believe I referenced in the report, 15 active projects within Gage County that Engage is either working on directly or at least tracking. I think most of the projects that we had in the queue when I arrived last March of 2020 have mostly fallen off. If they were being monitored, we're not counting those anymore. Things have opened up, travel has resumed, perhaps not the same as it was 2 years ago, but we have had some travel. We've had a headquarter visit, 1 headquarter visit. We've had a recruitment trip to the Site Selectors Guild in Orlando, where we got to interact with about 50 of the country's best site selectors, some of which we've worked with. We'll have hopefully this fall some headquarter trips with some existing companies that we have, along with a local delegation. And the last but not least thing I want to touch on is the Communities for Kids grant application. I mentioned this last quarterly report. We have not received official word, but we've been, indications been given to us that we will be participating in that and receive that grant. It's a $30,000 grant for 3 years. So now, once we get that official word, we'll start reevaluating the initial core team that we submitted as part of that application and assemble that officially and get going with that project.
You want to discuss the parameters of that program?
Sure. So initially what it is it's through the Nebraska Children and Families Foundation, which I believe is an affiliated fund of the Nebraska Community Foundation. They or their consultants come in and meet on a regular basis with our core team that we've assembled to really help us take stock of how we are doing, where are we excelling, where are there gaps in terms of how we are doing for our kids, particularly the ages 0 through 6. So early childhood development, child care. They did follow up, and I mentioned it in here, I believe, with a question of regarding the geographic area that we're looking at. After talking to multiple school administrators, Community Action Partnership, we decided that Beatrice, Blue Springs, Wymore would probably be a reasonable starting point for a geographic area as far as the needs of those demographics, those kids, pretty comparable.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any questions of Trevor, gentlemen? Rick?
You have a board retreat coming up. What will that encompass?
Yeah, so we will have Mission Matters on Wednesday. We'll be facilitating a morning board retreat for the Engage board. It'll be taking place in Pickerel at the community building that was recently renovated. Last one was done in 2018. It was about a 3-year strategic plan, or at least honing in on the focus area over the last 3 years. So we want to reevaluate that. I think it's especially important and critical now, post-COVID, as we emerge. And we see the needs of our employers are vastly different in some cases. So that's what's coming up Wednesday.
Any other questions? Anyone from the public? All right, Trevor, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Next is our city administrator's monthly report. Tobias?
Just a couple of highlights to end the report there. Obviously, you guys have the whole thing. Fire station, we've had a number of, well, most of the progress lately has been inside, and so not a lot of people on the outside have been able to see what's been happening, but you're gonna start seeing some changes on the outside of the building. Today, the communication tower went up, so that was installed today. The roofing material has arrived on site, and you'll start seeing that be installed on the building. And then finally, the overhead doors are set to be installed August 5th, that week of August 5th. And so you'll start seeing those improvements on the outside. Again, just finally some things again on the outside to see. I know some parking lots and some driveways are being set to be poured and that kind of stuff, but they're starting to get wrapped up and it's coming along quite nice. Another project that's out there is the dewatering project down at the wastewater treatment facility. $4 million project. We've got the centrifuges. They're up and they're running. They're operational. They're just working through their punch list now to get the last few things buttoned up before that project is completely done and over with, but has gone well.
That hasn't been transferred to us yet, correct?
No, not yet. River access, last meeting you guys approved the contract with Lottman. I believe he's planning on being on site here in the next couple of weeks to start his work. And so you'll start seeing progress there made. It will not require closing of the highway, and so once the state's done with their bridge work and they move on, we do not anticipate closing the highway down to traffic for a third time this summer. We're gonna try to limit to 2. And then finally, obviously the budget, it keeps rolling through here. I think we have a work session here in the next meeting. We'll start talking about a few things. We'll start bringing more of it to you. BPW will take a look at it here in July and August. We gotta wait for the county assessor to finalize valuations, so we can kind of put the final bow on it, if you will, bring it back to this body. We're looking for approval of that September 7th meeting. Other than that, any questions anybody has?
Any questions?
We still have some sidewalks that are in progress downtown. Are we getting close to the time frame that they have to be done?
Right, originally on the sidewalk, the downtown the CDBG revolving loan fund program that we had out there, we gave them to the end of this month to get their sidewalks completed. And I know we have just a couple that they're gonna be done, they're gonna get wrapped up. There were about, I think, 3 people who initially applied, got through all the environmental reviews, and then ultimately did not go forward with their projects for whatever reason. But all the rest, I think, will get taken care of yet this month.
Has all the money been exhausted then?
Yes. By the time we're done with all of these projects and the curb and gutter work that we're done, in addition to all those, we'll have spent all the money that was initially allocated for that project.
Okay, perfect. Any other questions, gentlemen? Anyone from the audience? All right, Mr. Claybaugh. Our next regular meeting is going to be on August 2nd in these chambers, and there will be a work session next Monday night at 7 o'clock, also in this location. Mr. Claybaugh.
I move that the meeting be adjourned at 7:13 p.m.
Second.
Moved by Claybaugh, seconded by Billsbach, that the meeting be adjourned at 7:13 p.m. Your vote, please. That's approved 5-0. Thank you, everyone.